Hi, this is Michael. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing an oracle card reading for the energy of the collective, for the full moon partial lunar eclipse in Capricorn, and the full moon phase of the current lunar cycle. This reading is specifically for the period of July 15th through July 20th, and during this time the moon will be moving through Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. This full moon is in Capricorn, and it will peak on July 16th or 17th, depending on where you live. Here in Florida, it will peak on July 16th at 5:38 p.m. A full moon in Capricorn is associated with success, accomplishment, patience, and diligence. So this will be a powerful time for pushing forward on any long-term plans that you've made, and for helping you tackle any obstacles that you may have previously encountered. A full moon in Capricorn is also a time of self-discipline, and is a great time to work on gaining mastery over our emotions, learning how to better control them so that they don't control us. You may feel some pretty explosive emotions during this time, especially with the added partial lunar eclipse. So don't get caught up in the intensity of these emotions. Try to remain in full control and allow things to unfold without reacting whenever possible. Be sure to stay grounded and centered, and you can use techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and focused deep breathing. In regards to health, Capricorn rules the joints and skeletal system, so you may want to take it a little easy during this time. A brief walk may be good, but avoid extremely strenuous activities if at all possible, in order to give your joints and spine a rest. Capricorn also rules the skin, hair, and nails, so this will be a good time to treat yourself with a manicure, pedicure, a hot oil hair treatment, or a skincare treatment. In addition to the full moon, we also have the partial lunar eclipse the same day, which peaks at 5:31 p.m. here in Florida. The lunar eclipse, however, will not be visible here or anywhere in North America really, but for the rest of the world it will be visible to some degree. Regardless if you can see the eclipse or not, everyone will still receive the effects that the lunar eclipse brings. Lunar eclipses are considered deeply transformative and are associated with sudden changes, endings, and release. If you really need to let go of something that's no longer serving you, this will be the time. Full moons are good at illuminating imbalances and all that is holding us back, and when paired with the partial lunar eclipse, we may be guided to face head-on what we need to release and let go of. If you need some extra assistance with letting go of something or someone, a simple releasing ritual may be beneficial, which I usually talk about on my waning moon videos. Basically, you just write down what it is that you want to release onto a piece of paper, and then you burn the piece of paper and visualize what you're releasing floating away with the smoke. Or you can do the same thing with toilet paper and then flush it down the toilet, visualize what you're releasing going down the drain and washing away. Or you can even make up your own releasing ritual, just keep it simple. It's more about the visualization and your intention behind the releasing ritual. The full moon phase in general is associated with harvest, celebration, forgiveness, and gratitude. The full moon marks the culmination of the lunar cycle and your intentions, so this is generally when you reap what you sowed during the new moon. If your intentions are still new, you may only see small changes or simply see that change is on the way, but you can use the power of gratitude along with the full moon energy to amplify and magnify these intentions. Use this time to give thanks for everything that you've manifested so far from your new moon intentions, and also give thanks for all the experiences and existing blessings in your life. A simple gratitude ritual is a great way to do this, and is an extremely powerful practice. Just start by getting into a comfortable place, and then spend a few minutes centering yourself by meditating or whatever works for you. Then in a journal, write down everything that you're grateful for, no matter how big or how small, and write as much detail as you can. And then once you're done, go over what you've written and really take some time to feel and relive the gratitude for each item. The full moon is also a time of forgiveness, so look back at the past month or longer and think of anyone or anything that has hurt you, or any grudges that you may be holding on to. Instead of focusing on the blame, really focus on forgiving and releasing those feelings of blame. When we forgive, we can truly move on and let go, and the clearer that you are now, the better able you'll be to sow more seeds at the time of the new moon. The full moon is also a great time to cleanse and recharge your crystals with a simple cleansing ritual. Place your crystals outside or on a windowsill or balcony and set your intentions for the full moon to cleanse the crystals. Some people like to leave their crystals out in the morning sunlight afterwards, but just keep in mind that some crystals can fade if left in the sunlight too long. amethyst, and fluorite are some examples. So just be sure to bring these back inside before the sun gets too high in the sky the next morning. I usually like to bring mine in a little after sunrise so they do receive a little boost from the sun's energy. Once you bring your crystals back inside, you can then charge your crystals with your desired intentions, and you can do this for each individual stone or do them all in a group. For example, individually charging your rose quartz with love to support your relationship, or overall charging all of your crystals to intensify their individual healing properties. There's really no right or wrong way to do this, just do whatever resonates and feels right for you. Then once you're finished, you should close the ritual by giving thanks, especially to the moon and to Mother Earth. So with all that being said, let's get started with the collective reading and see what the cards have to tell us. I've laid out 2 cards here to assist with the energy of the reading. I have the Full Moon and Capricorn card. Message here is the end of a tough cycle approaches. It's always nice. And the other card I have here is the Full Moon Eclipse card for the Lunar Eclipse. And conclusions are within reach is the message for that one. And both of those cards are from the Moonology Oracle deck. And for the reading today, I'll be using the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, which is by John Holland. I already meditated and shuffled before we started, but we'll go ahead and give it another quick shuffle here. And just a reminder that this is a general reading, so all of it may not resonate with you. Just take whatever does and leave the rest. And again, this is going to be a collective reading for the Full Moon Partial Eclipse in Capricorn for the period of June 15th, July 15th through July 20th. Alright, let's get started. Okay, for this first card, we're looking for what is the current energy of the collective. So what is the current energy of the collective? We've got movement, choices, decisions. So some of you could be facing some choices in your life at the moment. You could be unclear which way or which path to take in your life currently, or maybe even just where to focus your attention currently. Some of you may be having a hard time with these decisions. Could be in serious contemplation. Just want to make sure you're making the right choice. This card usually indicates that there's some serious changes or choices that must be made. Could be juggling a lot of choices, a lot of different demands, different aspects of your life. May just not be sure which way to focus or how to focus. Or some of you may want to make some various changes in your life, but you're kind of at a standstill. Or you may think about making changes, but not really take action like you should. Okay, for this next card, what limitations has the collective been facing? What limitations has the collective been facing? Okay, and we've got moving on. So some of you could have difficulty moving on from a current situation. Could have trouble leaving your shadows behind. Some of you could be limiting yourself in regards to money. Looks like money here. Maybe limiting your mindset on abundance, or limiting your success due to some sort of blocks with money. Some of you could be right on the verge of taking the next step that you need, but you may be limiting or restricting yourself. May feel reluctant to get out there, to put yourself out there. Some of you may be holding on to something too tightly that's limiting you. So you may want to release that. Looks like he's got a pocket watch here. So some of you may limit yourself in regards to time in some way. Maybe you think you're too old to do something or too young to do something, or you don't have enough time, limiting yourself in that sense. Could be stuck in the past. Okay, for this next card, what does the collective need to break free of? What does the collective need to break free of? And we've got heartache and loss. Heartache and loss. So again, much like this, some of you are having a hard time moving on from heartache or loss. Looks like your corset's pretty tight around your midsection here. So some of you could be really stressing or feeling anxious about this. So just breaking free of that anxiety, of that worry, of that fear. Some of you may be stuck in a state of depression. So it's working on overcoming that, breaking free of that, getting out of your head. Or some of you may think too much about heartache or loss that's happened in your life. So it's just clearing your head, keeping a clear head about that. Some of you could have really gone inside yourself or in a cave of sorts. So it's breaking free of that. Again, putting yourself out there, getting out there. Some of you could be stuck on past disappointments or past upsets. So it's breaking free of the negative thought patterns, moving past that, and allowing your heart to heal. It's also realizing that many of our painful experiences are just as valuable as joyous ones. There's many lessons that we've learned, so just finding the solace in that may help you break free of the sorrow. And some of you may have lost faith in a sense. Faith in yourself, faith in a relationship, faith in a higher power. So again, it's breaking free of that resentment, focusing on the positive, finding that faith again. Okay, for this next card, what area of the collective's lives have they personally eclipsed? What area of the collective's lives have they personally eclipsed? I'll take the top one here. And we've got awareness. Awareness. Even looks like an eclipse. Some of you could have hidden or suppressed your innate abilities. Actually, all of us have, thanks to societal programming, fear, what we hear on the news, what we're taught in school, self-doubt being instilled. So it's just knowing that we're all powerful beings. We all have abilities beyond our imagination. We've all truly forgotten who we are. We've eclipsed our true nature in order to incarnate here. It's also remembering your connection to the universe and the connection to your galactic family even. This card's a reminder that you have all the tools that you need to create anything you want or anything you need. You have the ability to manifest. Some of you may doubt yourself or doubt your abilities, psychic skill or your intuition, or you may have been taught to hide that. So it's just tapping back into those abilities. Many of us may not realize that we literally create our own reality. Our thoughts create our reality. So you may need to focus on using positive thoughts, positive visualizations, affirmations, anything to keep you out of a negative mind frame. Okay, for this next card, what would be the best way to shed light on these obscured areas? What would be the best way to shed light on these obscured areas? And we've got passion ignited. It's beautiful. Passion ignited. Literally looks like another eclipse here. So it's digging deep, finding that passion inside of you, Some of you may need to work on meditating and connecting more with your intuition or with your higher self. It's also learning to trust your intuition. It's also just realizing that you are divine. You have a divine spark inside of you. It's also overcoming any past programming or limitations that we've set on ourselves. It's also trusting in yourself and believing in yourself, knowing that you have inside of you everything you need to manifest your dreams. Some of you may need to just find more passion in life, or maybe more passionate for spiritual things. This card's about new beginnings, new ideas, so it's having a new way of looking at things, seeing the full potential, all the possibilities, knowing that there's exciting adventures ahead. Or some of you may need to live more spiritually, more outwardly, or share your spiritual knowledge or spiritual gifts with people. You share your light from within. You could even spark their spiritual journey. Okay, for this next card, what is no longer serving the collective that needs to be illuminated and released? And we've got emotional loss. Much like the heartache and loss over here, have emotional loss. So again, it's a reminder that holding on to these emotional losses, these past heartaches, whether it be in your relationship or the loss of a loved one, it's really seeing how that's affecting you, like taking a closer look, realizing how that's affecting you, and that it does you no good to hold on to those feelings. Just knowing how that's dragging you down, how that's keeping you in the dark. So you may want to focus on the light, focus on the positivity, know that everything comes full circle. Everything happens for a reason. People come into our lives for a variety of reasons, so it's just accepting the separation, accepting the loss, knowing that there was a purpose there. Loss is inevitable. It's just part of life. So it's looking at the bigger picture, knowing that all things happen for a reason. Okay, for this last card, what positive energies will emerge for the collective from this full moon partial eclipse in Capricorn? And we've got firm foundation. So some of you may end up with a better stance or a better knowing of where you stand in life, or with your goals, or with your relationship even. Knowing that there may be a mountain ahead of you, but you're staying grounded, centered, and focused. Or it could be that some of you have been working towards a solid foundation in your life. You may have started laying the groundwork already, so just knowing that you're well on your way. It's also learning from those past mistakes, or learning those lessons, knowing that they've made you stronger, and you can move on with more courage. Some of you may come to the realization that you're holding on to your possessions too tightly, or maybe you think about material wealth too much, or the lack thereof. So you may realize that, which will in turn help bring more abundance. Some of you may see some material gain, might come into some money of sorts, or some of you may just start to feel more abundant in your life. Okay, so with this full moon partial lunar eclipse in Capricorn, just know that for some of you it's the end of a tough cycle. You may have some important decisions or choices to make, but you could have some things holding you back. Things like heartache, emotional loss. You may have a hard time moving on from these things, so it's just focusing on leaving those shadows behind. And we should also focus on forgiving those that may have brought us heartache, releasing those grudges. It's also being aware of those emotions, not letting those emotions control us, knowing that everything comes full circle. Where there was once loss, there will soon be gain. It's just focusing on the positivity. Some of you may need to focus on reigniting your passion. You may be feeling a little lackluster or not spiritually connected, so it's focusing on finding that connection, your connection to your higher self, your guides, or your connection to God or Source. And it's also trusting that connection, trusting the messages that you may get, learning to quiet your mind, hear those and interpret those. It's also knowing that we have the divine spark within us. We are all a part of God. We are all God. We're all creator beings, capable of creating our reality. So don't focus on these feelings of negativity. Release those fears, those anxieties. Know that anything is within reach. There are no limitations. For many of you, you've been working on building this firm foundation, laying the groundwork for a solid future, and not just a material foundation of sorts, but it could also be a spiritual foundation. So keep working on building onto that foundation, adding to it, growing and expanding, but don't restrict yourself. Allow things to flow as they should. Know that conclusions are within reach, and knowing that no matter what path we take, what choice we make, that there are no wrong choices. You are being divinely guided by the universe and your angels, your guides. So just focus on that awareness, that inner knowing, and allow that to guide you to a brighter, more abundant future. Okay, so that's my reading for this full moon partial lunar eclipse in Capricorn. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in.